Why? I realized since COVID last 2 years and Joey being in online school, I realized he's been having a challenge expressing himself, a challenge being confident, and he's not making logical decisions at all. I need to speak to someone about his behavior, man. I need to, because I'm very concerned about his recent actions. Let me call Mr. Theo, the guidance counselor from upper school, and see if him can help me, because I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing in Joey at all, at all, at all. Good day, Mr. Theo. How do you do? I am Miss Thompson, Joey's mother from third farm. You remember him, right? How you do? Well, sorry to bother you, but since Joey has been on online school for the past 2 years, he really hasn't been himself. I mean, he hasn't been expressing himself properly, he's not confident, and he's not making logical decisions. You are the guidance counselor, so I thought that you could have some advice for me so I can be able to help me boy.
Good day, Miss Thompson. Of course I remember you. It will be a pleasure to assist you and young Joey. Well, based on the situation you advised me of, considering that Joe is now an adolescent, let me just ask you this. Do you tend to exercise the principle of developmental assets in your household?
Developmental assets, Mr. Theo? What are you talking about? I've never heard of that before. What are those things? What is that?
Well, Miss Thompson, it's really simple. The term developmental asset refers to the positive beliefs, relationships, abilities, and experiences that the adolescent may need to aid his mental development throughout life. I was first introduced to the theory of developmental assets during my study at the University of Technology by my lecturer, Miss Leonie Sims. I gained the understanding that young individuals with high developmental asset levels are more likely to make healthy choices, whereas those with low assets, they are more likely to engage in simply negative or dangerous behaviors. The theory is made up of 40 positive supports and strengths that young people require in order to achieve. Half of their assets are devoted to the connections and experiences they require in their homes, schools, and communities, which you can refer to as the external assets. And the remaining assets center on the social emotional qualities, values, and commitments that young people develop, which we could refer to as internal assets.
My God, Mr. Theo, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You mean to tell me that all along there was something out there in psychology that could help Joey to be better? Oh my God, thank you so much. That sounds really good. That sounds really good. I really want to see him to be the man that he really could become. Thank you so much for that. Oh.
No need to be thanking me, Miss Thompson. It's truly just a pleasure to be able to assist you and young Joey. So just to share a bit more information so that you'll be able to exercise these assets in your household. Remember I informed you that the developmental assets have a total of 40 positive supports and strengths. Well, those 40 positive supports and strengths could be placed into 8 main groups. For the internal assets, we would have 4, while the external would also have 4. Internal assets would consist of commitment to learning, positive values, social competencies, and positive identity, while external assets would include support, empowerment, boundaries and expectations, and finally, constructive use of time. Based on the situation that you've expressed to me about Joey, having a lack of confidence, failure in making logical decisions, or even failure to express himself properly, I strongly believe that you should try to exercise the developmental asset of empowerment. As you mentioned, Joey's behavior started to change after his enrollment in online classes. As of such, it is highly possible that due to COVID-19 and him being locked up for the past 2 years, he's been deprived of the necessary opportunities to develop his socialization and decision-making skills, which would in turn result in his low self-esteem. By exercising empowerment, you would increase Joey's feelings of value and appreciation, which is very important to the adolescent especially. To exercise empowerment in the household, I would truly recommend that you provide opportunities and recognize accomplishment which would help to build Joey's self-esteem. This in turn gives him the confidence to share his ideas, knowledge and creativity by volunteering and working with his peers. By paying attention to the adolescent, you show that you value them. Empowerment actually aids in developing relationships that young people grow up healthy, caring, and responsible.
You know, sometimes it's not always easy to know what it takes for him to feel important. Sometimes he doubts himself or don't feel valued despite the good intentions of and recognition from me. However, I will try to communicate with him openly and honestly. I'll try to empower him by letting him know that his questions and concerns are valid and they are also important, which will in turn help build Joey's confidence and reasoning ability, which simultaneously will help him to make a logical decision.
That is it, Miss Thompson. You've got the idea correct. So empower Joey by providing choices and ensure that he knows that his feelings are valued and important. Just a tip, by the way, what I suggest you could do in your house is to have regular family meetings to plan, solve problems, and encourage one another. Rotate who actually leads meetings, and in your neighborhood and community, get him involved in the community and advocate for developing table for the adolescent, such as volunteer projects and civic activities. It was a pleasure assisting you, Miss Thompson. I do truly wish you enjoy the best.
Boy, I don't know what I'd do without you, Mr. Theo. Thank you so very much for giving me this information and explaining to me what I could have done or I can do to help my little boy Joey to be the best man that he can be. Because I was worried, but I'm going to take what you tell me and I am going to practice it so that Joey can be the best him he can be. Thank you so very much again. Have a great rest of your day.
That's all, folks.